Welcome. I'm Tracy Poisner, and this is the Undeletable Dad podcast, a show for divorced or separated fathers. My job here is to guide you out of the thickets of parental alienation and to lead you across the threshold of the impossible to a real dimension where your children are securely held in the orbit of your love and influence. It's not a dream, it's reality, just waiting for you to breathe life into it. You're invited to work on a deeper level with me through our courses, group programs, or private mentorship by visiting undeletabledad.com. Welcome to the third and final installment of my interview with mild-mannered Wisconsin realtor and divorced dad, Jesus Quinones. If you haven't heard the previous two episodes, you'll want to go back and do that now, or I can just give you the spoiler alert and tell you that Jesus was alienated from his kids while he was doing time for selling marijuana, a business he had already closed the door on in the interest of starting over as an upstanding family man and good dad. Fast forward to today, and he's already coaching other fathers in what he learned in prison and afterwards that got his kids back despite every obstacle. That's all I have to say. Let's dive right in with Jesus. Hi again, Jesus.
Hey.
Thanks for doing this with me. Thanks for continuing on this series because I think this is really, I think it's great for people to for dads to see for themselves what it could look like to really hit rock bottom in the most significant way. Like you said, like, you're in prison, you got nothing, there is nobody helping you, you have zero resources, and still you could manage to somehow like bring up the strength to get yourself beyond that and to where you are now as like truly the leader of your family that your kids look up to again, and that they love you and they look to you for approval. Like, that is like a pipe dream for a lot of guys, and you've done it.
Yeah. No, of course. It's my, like, I'm so happy to do this. As I mentioned, it's like there's not a lot of help out there for those guys, or even for just alienated parents, outside the walls that are, so I feel like it's my calling. Sorry, motorcycle out there. So I feel like it's my calling to do this. Like it's I have to do it. I do, and it's just in my heart, and I'm happy to do it. So,
well, I think that like not the mascot, because that's a terrible small name, but like the emblem of the whole Undeletable Dad franchise is the dark horse. This mythical dark horse energy frequency, that like you just typify this energy for me. I mean, I'm so glad to know you because you're like a living embodiment of this kind of energy, even though you're a pretty humble, quiet guy, but you embody this dark horse quality of the unexpected reserves of power that you have. That is a dark horse thing, right? That means that you can do the unexpected. You can come from behind in a way that like nobody sees you coming, and suddenly you're just there. Like, how is that possible? That you like the comeback, the incredible comeback energy, the resiliency, the attitude towards winning, that is not about, it's not about like crushing the opposition. It's about how obvious it is to you that you're just going to open every door and go down every road to get where you need to get, and there's no stopping you, right? You have this kind of leadership gene about you that is, you become a leader in everything that you do. And I know there are some guys that maybe don't have that naturally, but like that's what you want to teach them, right? You want to mine what you have inside yourself and just say, dude, you can do this, what I did. Like, if I did it, you can do it.
Yeah, definitely. No, and I think the work it's innate for some people, but you can also build that, and it's just having the confidence, the faith, putting in the work. It all starts inside, and knowing
Well, you
that,
learned it, right? You learned it.
yeah, yeah, I had no choice, and I think it's kind of, if everybody does the same thing, it's like you have no choice. It's our duty and obligation as a father, like we made these kids and we have to become the best versions of ourselves in order to help the kids. So like you have to muster it up. You have to look at it as if you have no choice. Like this, like you have no choice. This
What?
is what has to be done. Like this is,
And
and there's no ifs, ands, or buts, no excuses. Like, and that's just the way that I look at it. And I feel like a lot of the characteristics, like everybody should be able to harness, that uh, dark horse energy and and capitalize on it. Like if you can harness that power and that energy, learn how to use it, that's, I think then you're on your way to doing good things.
I want to talk just a bit, and I'm going to ask you to reflect on this, but the three pieces, the three elements of the dark horse frequency that I talk about are masculinity, individuality, and precision. And we're going to take each of those apart just a little bit, but you know that I feel that masculinity is a hugely important feature of fatherhood that has been very much degraded over the last 30 or 40 years with the whole, like, I'm going to call it the myth of toxic masculinity, because I think that there's no such thing. I think there's toxic behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but that has nothing to do with masculinity. We've been somehow conditioned to believe that real pure masculine traits can somehow be toxic. And what I think of as the masculine um, energy that that a man brings into his expression of fatherhood are things like framework and strategy and discipline and willpower. Those, and it is nothing to do with men and women, right? Because women have masculine energy too, just like men have feminine energy. But the masculine codes archetypally are to do with these things like strategy, discipline, willpower. So just reflect a little bit on how you feel about, the masculine codes that you draw on or drew on to get you where you are now.
Yeah, so I think like those three pointers, with the strategy, the discipline, and the power. Um, for me, yeah, like it's hard to say that there was a strategy because I feel like I just had to do it, with every step of the way when I was struggling with the parental alienation. Like I had to do something. I had to, so I guess my strategy was me figuring it out and doing what needed to be done, so I didn't like write down on paper and like strategize, but I knew that I had to do something.
Right.
And so like for as far as masculinity, like I think that with strategy, a person really does have to strategize, to build themselves to be,
I'm going to remind you of something. You dug deep into masculinity because you told me that when you were in prison, you got buff. Like you got working out, you got tattooed, you went way down the masculine road of,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I did. It broke me down. Like I was just so mad. It was like a fiery kind of, at what, like when it started happening, with my ex, that she was not letting me see the kids, and I learned that she was with another guy. Like I was just fiery, pissed off. Like I walked into that prison system, I didn't know nothing. I was like scared, like, oh my God, like this place is crazy. Well, I turned around and I was the one that was like got like jacked and was like looking around like, don't test me. Like
Yeah.
don't even try it. Right. So it's like
But there's power. There is so much power in that
mhm,
masculine energy. And there's like all this talk about how toxic toxic masculinity, like that aggressive, violent side. But
mhm,
but it there is a piece of it, like the aggressive, violent behavior is toxic, but there is something about the power of digging into your masculinity and
yeah. I
like
think
building
walking
up your
tall
muscles and walking tall and having the
like that,
confidence of
yeah.
being physically strong, right?
Oh, for sure. Because I still get that anywhere I go. And right now I'm with, Raina, which I'm not sure if anybody else knows about Raina, but she's also, involved a lot of this. But my ex-girlfriend's like, because I walk tall, right? I scan rooms. I'm like, I'm not walking on like staring at anybody and like with my chest out or anything. But whenever I go somewhere, people like look at me and they go, they're
Yeah.
give me one of these or one
Yeah.
of these or
Yeah.
like, whatever. Like I'm always getting, people, guys,
A nod, a
men,
look.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like, do you know that guy? I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. It's a thing of respect. So it's an energy. If you can walk tall, if you can have that, it doesn't have to be walking around like you're mean mugging people, but it is. I think it's super important because it's an energy. Like I'm a man and I carry myself well, and I'm going to protect my family. I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to protect, the helpless. I'm going to, like it's having that confidence. And even if somebody is not, doesn't have the muscles or whatever, like you can still do that and you can still,
Yeah.
have that energy. So yeah, I think that
That
it's
protect
super
is an
important
important word, right? That protect
for
is a
sure.
really important word of fatherhood, right? Like provide and protect. Those are
Hmm.
um I mean, it might sound like you're like talking about the police force or something, but providing and protecting are really, really critical to the whole fatherhood piece. The next thing after masculinity is individuality, of like owning your identity, owning the fact that you are important to your children by definition, by the fact that your DNA is swimming in their body, and like owning who you are, what you value, what's important to you, how do you move through the world. That is Those are like codes that you are giving to your children. It's a kind of roadmap of life, and it's
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah.
It goes with your fingerprint, right?
Hmm. Yep, exactly. Individuality. I always throughout my walk, my individualism is like I just got to do what I got to do, and I don't care what anybody thinks about it because I know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And one of the struggles that my kids have with part of my individuality was my faith. I knew my walk with Christianity. The kids they wouldn't come to church with me, and I would say, well, you're coming. Like this is who I am. This is who we are in my household and our household. This is how things are. And it's often that when I'm in church that I cry. I cry as I'm worshiping, and like I used to like big time ball, but now I just like, tears and stuff. But I find it that it's very important that the kids see me like that in my individuality because I don't see many people in church doing that. And I really don't care who's looking at me, but I find that it's important that my kids, do see me as myself and what I'm doing and not caring about what anybody else thinks. So
Amen.
I think that that's
Amen to
like,
that. That is so
uh,
great.
yeah.
Wow, I
So,
love that. And the third thing after individuality and masculinity is precision. And it's precision about where you're going to direct your masculine sight. This providing and protecting, this strategy, discipline, willpower, like where are you sending that? Where are you focusing it? Like you have to focus so narrowly. And I think that that's part of where the toxic masculinity bullshit comes out into the world, is by people not being focused, men not being focused in where they apply this fierceness in their life, right? Like you are focusing this on your partner and your children and on yourself, on your personal development. And you are not caring, like you just said, what anybody else thinks about that. You're not like telling other people how to live their lives. You're not putting your assertiveness out into the world as kind of aggression on other people. You are assertive in a very precise, direct way. And it's I think we don't pay enough attention to how precise we have to be in life about where our energy goes.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Because, that's something that I haven't really thought about at all. But, when you talk about it, like, yeah, like I do all these things. Like I'm, with all my daily habits, and I do it in hopes that that Raina can see me, that my kids can see me, that my family can see me, that other people can see, what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be very precise. I have my daily, habits. Like I wake up, I have to exercise. I have to, whether it's 10 minutes or whatever, I have to get, my exercise in. And that's how I get my day started. And then I have to meditate, and I have to, then I take a nice cold shower, whatever. These are the three things that gets my day started, and then it kind of everything else kind of follows. So I'm very precise about that. I have to, like, because if I don't do it, then I feel like my day's off. But the kids see me, they hear me, they're like, oh, I hear you, sweating and breathing hard and whatever when you're working out in the morning, and it's kind of like whatever. Like I guess, so yeah, I'm not really like aiming like precision to them, but I'm being precise about, you know, me doing that and them knowing about it. So, if that
That's
makes sense at all.
fantastic. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. No, I think that's great. And there is obviously also a precision in the parenting that you do, because like when you are clear about the individuality piece, like what's important to you, like what you
Mhm.
were just saying, like your faith is important to you. There are a lot of other things that are important to you, but you have things that guide you in your life so that you know what's important, what am I going to put my attention on, and what can I let go, so that you're not just saying no to your kids about everything all the time. You know that sometimes you can be flexible and
Mhm.
let something go, and other times, like that's where your laser is pointed and there's no wiggle room about that,
Mhm.
and when they can feel your precision, they can rely on that. Like they know that you're not just a hard ass and you're just telling
Mhm.
them, like, no, you're not allowed to stay out late, no, you're not allowed to eat too much sugar, no, you're not, they know that you're not just being an over controller. They get a sense of how precisely you apply your protection to them,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
how precisely you provide for them what they need.
Yeah.
They get a sense of that, and that makes them feel really secure in your presence. So I want to talk a little bit now about Patronus College, because
Okay.
I have invited you to work with me on
Yes.
this project. This is the second cohort of dads that I have going through the 4-month Patronus College program. And I've invited you to join me there as a trainer, because I think your input is like completely invaluable. And I really want all of these guys to know you and connect with you, and to essentially have you on speed dial for 4 months, right? Because we're going to be working together. So Patronus College is the world's most powerful training ground for alienated dads. That's the subtitle of it. And the magic piece is so important for me, because it's not just about logic and about the grind of the legal system and about filling out forms and whatever. Like, we have to learn to access the magical part of life to get your kids back. Because what you did, it wasn't just like, yeah, I went to court and I won custody, end of story, right? Like, you still had kids who were screaming, like, why do we have to go with you? We don't like you. I don't want to be with you, right? You can't fix that with logic. You fix that with a kind of love delivery system that is magical. It's magical.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
I agree. There's so much more to all of this than what meets the eye. It's not just
Right.
cut and dry. Yeah, every situation's different, and
Exactly.
you have to really
Exactly.
think outside the box. And
Yeah.
I wish I would have had something like this to kind of walk me through it, like kind of open up my eyes a little bit. But yeah, I completely agree.
So everybody who I've ever mentioned this to, including the guys who did it last time, just thought it was hilarious and wonderful that there's a kind of Hogwarts style, school for alienated dads to learn this kind of magic. Transfiguration is this personal development piece, right? This learning emotional mastery, which is what you got from 1,000 hours of cognitive behavioral therapy, and which you can also help to synthesize, right? Every time somebody does a huge piece of learning like that, you can synthesize what you learned, and now you can transfer it to somebody else in not 1,000 hours, right? But you can help give them the key things that helped you from all of that. You can help people to see it faster, to get there faster, to have the insights faster.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, that transfiguration, I love that part because me personally going through, my transfiguration, like I'm still going through it, like I think it's never ending. I always tell people like it doesn't matter how good somebody is, like there's always room for improvement. And this transfiguration portion of the program, I just think is amazing. And yeah, I can't wait to be a part of it because just the things that I've done with myself and like with my daily habits and all that stuff, it's between all the stuff that you're teaching and my own stuff, I think
Yeah,
it can be like a
this
very
is going to be
powerful
magical.
experience.
It
Yeah.
is. It's going to
Mhm.
be very powerful. Any dad who's going through this really needs to be part of this program.
Yeah, I completely agree. Having gone through my own experience, had I've known, all the stuff that, you're teaching with all your programs, I think I would have probably succeeded a lot sooner. And it's kind of like, people, it's you learn from your mistakes, right? But you can also learn from other people's mistakes and it can make it a lot better, a lot easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, this is an investment. I'm not going to lie, but you are heavily invested, not you particularly, but the dad who's listening is heavily invested financially in what's happening right now. Like, that's no secret, right? It is not rare to be spending 50 or 100,000, $200,000 on legals, to have therapy, family therapy expenses, therapy for yourself. Down the road, your kids are going to, you're going to be paying for rehab programs and all kinds of stuff that is going to be a consequence of not getting this under control. So the clock is ticking, and you want to be back in the driver's seat of your family dynamic now and not 10 years from now. You don't want to be paying for everything that can go wrong, for how long your court drama can play out, right? Like, by knowing the techniques that can, like, put a tourniquet around that and just stop bleeding cash into the court system. So everybody is going to save much, much more than their investment by signing up for this. So we are going to start on the 21st of September. That's the orientation for this. Enrollment is open right now, and anyone can reach out. You can, but just by going to undeletabledad.com. There's a link right there to click for the sign up page. And I'm inviting everyone to do that. Go to undeletabledad.com and click on Patronus College to learn more. And they're going to see you there too. And I'm so grateful to you, Jesus, for agreeing to be part of this journey with me. I'm really, really looking forward to this.
Yeah, thank you for reaching out and inviting me to do this with you. Like I said, this is extremely important to me. And again, I can't stress enough. If I had all this information, if I had somebody helping me, like there, it's been 5 years of a lot of just hurt, pain, like a lot of, and that could have all been
Shortened.
we've done something about it. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I really look forward to it as well.
great. Thanks again for being here.
Of course. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
I want to say just a few more words about Patronus College because it's coming up really fast. This is your chance to actually turn things around, to stop stepping in the traps that are being set for you, to avoid making the mistakes that keep setting you back and costing you precious time, to know how to respond when your kids say things to you like what they said to Jesus, like, "Why won't you leave us alone? Can't you see we don't want to be with you?" You're going to know exactly what to say when your kids challenge you about their rights or when they mirror their mom's attitude at you. You'll have the cheat codes for the game of extreme parenting right at your fingertips. You're going to learn how to spot a bad family therapist and how to make sure that mom's damage is not being compounded. You'll learn how to save thousands of dollars in court costs by providing your attorney with the exact pieces of hard evidence they need from you to win your case. This is where you're going to learn how to get back into the driver's seat of your family where you belong, instead of being led around by the nose through court and child services visits, having to watch your kids be emotionally abused without being able to do anything about it. Most importantly, you're going to collapse the timeline on getting your kids back into your life where they belong. Because, as Jesus said, having this detailed roadmap 5 years ago would have saved him going down more than a few dead ends and brought him success much sooner. Patronus College is the best place to craft your legacy of fatherhood, your long-term vision for your family, and for what you'll leave for generations of your descendants long after all this chaos and drama has become a distant memory. Every alienated dad needs to step through the gates of Patronus College. It's a true college-level education in all things related to fatherhood and parental alienation. You'll become a master of personal energetics and regain control of the narrative of your life. Go to undeletabledad.com right now, click to learn more, take the decision to put a stop to parental alienation, and enroll in Patronus College, because every moment you delay drains the potency out of your decree. Being decisive is the name of the game when it comes to your inner magnetism, and that's the thing that's going to make you truly unstoppable and undeletable. Thanks for listening, and thanks for checking out Patronus College. Your kids will thank you for that too. If you've got more questions, let me hear from you.